Hello and welcome to my studio. I'm Jessie and this is the Knit Up and Dye podcast, episode 67, Whipped and Whips. As always, I'm going to start out with a special hello and thank you to all of my subscribers, new and ongoing. Thank you guys. I love you. What you see here is really all about you. If you have suggestions, questions, comments, ideas, reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. I'm always looking for ways to make this better for you. I'd like to welcome, I have my cheat sheet here, Sabrina, Glenn, Jack, Valentina, Crystal, Hong Tao, Leslie. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for adding me to your lives. Special love and thanks go out to Patricia, Lisa Lette, Elaine, Cappy, Tiffany over at Tippy Tree Yarns, oh, I'm so sorry, Carol, Catherine, Wendy at Baba Yaya Podcast, hi Wendy, DFTBA and DS, Lemore, Vashon, Marie, Teresa, L, Diane, Barbara, Linda, Bex, Wheezy, Cindy, Christy, Neetsy, Charlotte, Chris, Roseanne, Linda, Marie, Leanne, Eve, Linda, David, Donna, Betty Ann, Scott, John, Carolyn, Kate, Terry, Nancy, and Rachel. Hello. Thank you, everyone. So, let's drop right in. Dyeing. Why is this episode called Whipped and Whips? I'm whipped. I'm exhausted. Yesterday I dyed 79 skeins of yarn. Final count was, this morning came out to 79. I'm 16 short of my goal. It was a very busy day. I put in about 9 straight hours and I am exhausted and I am sore. Today is really like a home chores day. I wanted to podcast yesterday, but by the time I was all cleaned up, I was... So today is home chores and so far we have planted our garden and we have bathed all 3 dogs and we shaved one of the dogs, so it's, and then rebathed her, so 4 dog baths, a shaving, and planted the entire garden. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. But at the same time, I had a lot of fun this weekend too, so yay. Do want to take a moment to remind everyone that I am having my 3rd anniversary sale over on my Etsy shop. If you use coupon code MONKEYTURNS3 all together, like you see here, you'll get 30% off your entire order. And that includes custom orders. If you have a colorway that you're hoping to do a sweater in, now is the time to contact me and I would be happy to do a custom order for you. My pleasure. So last week we had a parade and I pulled out all of my whips that I could find. There's at least one that I'm not sure, two that I don't know where they are. I'll find them eventually. I'll dig down to them. So part of doing the parade was to kind of get myself on task and to get some of these whips cleaned up and handled, and also to determine really what I was doing about the design, along whether I was designing something new or working on an existing design that was pended. I have made the decision to work on the Farmhouse shawl design. I didn't touch it this week. I managed to knock out another whip though and make it a finished object. I'm very excited about that. So, as far as finished objects go, these are my Squircle socks. I'm very excited about them. Squircle is a free pattern on Ravelry. The pattern writer's name on Ravelry is General Hogbuffer. I have not found any information as to a real name. I like General Hogbuffer. I think that's a cool name. It's a really neat pattern. It does this cool elongated heel so that self-striping socks really have this neat right angle show off of all the stripes, and then it returns back down into the round. The whole thing's done in the round. It's really kind of a vanilla sock because it is stockinette. It just has a different heel treatment. I really like it. They fit me really, really well. I worked the entire thing inside out. just to make it take advantage of the ease of doing purling in Portuguese knitting style. And I just realized I'm not really thrilled with my Kitchener. That's okay. I don't care. It's a toe. They're for me, and I love them. I love them. I really actually love how they fit my foot. So yay! I got a pair of socks done, and I couldn't be happier. The yarn, if you're looking at that and thinking that looks pretty cool, is Paintbox yarns, and it is in Pick Your Palette socks. It is 100 grams, 426 yards, 75% wool, 25% polyamide. This particular colorway is Fairisle Storybook. That's all that remains of it. It was a nice yarn. I really kind of liked it. I don't remember where I bought it. I want to say that I got it from yarn.com or something. I bought a whole bunch of commercial self-striping sock yarns earlier this year for myself, because I knew that this year was supposed to be the year of socks. This year is going to be the year of socks plus the year of narrowing the whips pile down so as not to have 20 whips going all at the same time. Sorry, needed to pick that up. I also dug in on my Adventurous wrap. I refer to it as my I Blame Carolyn on my project page on Ravelry. I showed you guys I had exactly half of it done, and there's the first half. It's big, it's beautiful, I can't wait. It's all garter stitch, so it's going to open up even more when I block it, and I'm very, very excited about it. This is going to, I think, live at work for me, so I always have something that I can just grab and wrap around myself. My office is very cold for me, which reminds me, hello Jorge, you're watching, I know it. And Jorge's never cold in the office. I'm always cold in the office. But because I'm always chilly and the temperature fluxes so much, I can't always just pull on a fleece or a sweater. Sometimes that's too much for me. So I think having this wrap at work would be really nice, because then I can just throw it on real quick just over my shoulders or in my lap, and I'll be very comfortable and happy. So I put some work on that by starting the second half. I'm so excited. I really am. I've been working on it. This week during my commute, I get to knit while my husband drives, and I made big progress. I've got quite a bit done. I'm through. I'm on to the 4th color. It's cruising. It's garter stitch. It's easy. It's fun. There's not too much of an opportunity to get bored, because in a lot of cases you're only working a row and back in one color before you change again. The longest stretch you have is 3 garter ridge rows, which is 6 rows, where you're in one color. But if you have fun colors, variegated colors, you don't care. You're so busy looking at the colors on the needles that you're just happily knitting away. So I've been working on this, like I said, in the car. It's been my commute knit, and a little bit during my lunch as the rows get longer because it's growing. Sometimes it gets hard to get a couple rows done in the time I have during my lunch break. But my lunch breaks just got a little bit longer. I finished my PT this week. I'm so excited. I'm over the moon about it, really, because I was having to do my physical therapy during one of my lunch breaks, and so that was like one whole day that I didn't get to knit at all. So I'm really happy that I'm done, I'm healed, I'm obviously at 100%, I'm knitting like crazy again, I'm dying again like crazy, but also that I have that relief, that break in my day where I can go and hide in the garden or down in the lobby in the hospital and just sit and relax and knit and detox my day and reset my mind and be ready for the second half of my day and make progress on things. So progress on that, finished that, progress on this. I also had my Lost in Space socks that I showed you guys last week. I'm knitting it from a sock blank. This is one of my blanks. I love it. I think it's just beautiful. I really am super happy with this blank. It's just, it's not colors I normally would use. It's pinks and purples, and there's teal speckling kind of in there. I think it's gorgeous. I cast on these socks, and I have made big progress on these as well. I'm almost done with the leg, and I'm doing a really simple eyelet stitch in there that I don't think you're going to be able to see at all. The yarn is very busy, but I wanted something to kind of lace it up a little bit, and it didn't need to be an intricate lace because you're not going to see it, but just an eyelet stitch. And yeah, I guess you can just barely see it. But I'm so in love with the yarn. It's so interesting to work with because it keeps changing. You just never know what's going to come up next. And there's a section where it'll stripe a little bit, and then there's a section where it swirls a little bit. It's just fun. It's fun knitting. This is living in a project bag with the second half of my Adventurous shawl. The Adventurous shawl is by Amber O'Brien, and I need to be sure that I note that for you, that it's Amber O'Brien. I believe it's a pay-to-play on Ravelry. I really ought to check that. But it really well written, fun, loving that. This is riding in the project bag with it, so that on my commute, if I get to the end of a row and we're so far along that I know I can't get another row in, I pull out my socks and I put on a couple rounds. I don't like stopping long rows halfway across. When you fold it all up and you shove it in the bag, it can put a lot of strain on where you stopped in the stitches and pull stitches unnaturally. So I try to finish a row when it's back and forth work. In the round, yeah, whatever. But having fun, really enjoying that, carrying one bag, 2 projects, and making progress on both. So that knocks off 1 whip done. That keeps 2 whips moving. And I'm sure you're seeing behind me, there's my Farmhouse shawl. I'm leaving it out. It is right on my favorite chair here in my studio, and every time I walk into my studio, whether I'm going to my computer or banding up yarns, I see it, and it's like this big, woohoo, over here, you have to work on me. I'm doing it on purpose to keep it in my face so that I recognize that I need to address it, and I need to address it soon. One of the issues is, straight up, I just don't have the yarn set aside for it, so I need to figure out what yarn I'm going to use. I think I have to dye some yarn, and then I need to let it dry and cake it and cast this baby on. I'm excited to do so. I do love this shawl, and I'm excited to get it produced for you guys. So, it's coming. That pretty well concludes my knitting summary. I quite literally have a list of all the whips that I rattled off to you guys last week, and I am going to really actively hit those. I want to get some space cleared. Mental space, physical space. When I have a lot of whips like that, especially when I know some of them are old and really have been camping forever, there's a sense of guilt. There's a sense of failure. I don't like to say that because I don't feel that I've failed, but I feel like in some ways I'm failing something. Whether it's lack of commitment, or it's lack of time, or it's lack of focus. I just don't feel great about myself when I have whips that are really, really old lying around. The gloves, I had a pair of gloves on that list. They still exist. I've pretty well decided that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rip it back. I don't foresee myself finishing that project. I wasn't happy with the project. I'm only about halfway through one of the gloves, and I'm not gelling with it. I don't feel it. It doesn't give me joy. It didn't give me joy when I worked on it. I think I'm just going to rip it out and use the yarn for something else and try and make something happy and joyful with the yarn. As for whether or not I'm going to make myself gloves or mitts, they don't make me happy. That project is just not a project that I'm excited about. I will go down to Target or Kohl's and I'll buy myself another pair of gloves for this winter and be quite happy. I still have among the missing one shawl and one hat. The next chance I have to rip my studio apart, I'll try and find them. And otherwise, I'm sort of the assumption that if I can't find them in here, I might have already done away with them. I had done a big clean at one point and I had pulled out a whole bunch of my whips, and I had done kind of a frog pond thing with them at that point where I threw things out and I ripped some stuff out. They may have gone at that point, but I didn't take the project page down off of Ravelry, and that's why I think that they still exist. We'll see. I'll try and find them. Also, the Dark Hero socks, I have not decided if I'm going to kill that project yet or not. It's kind of, it's out there. Those of you that commented this past week on the gold shawl that I was working on, the Duchess of Santa Fe, thank you. Your compliments were lovely. Thank you. I too love that shawl. I think I'm going to rip it back. I've had some ideas about how I may change that construction. I'm having difficulty with it being on the bias. I'm a little bit concerned about the bias. The reason I'm concerned about the bias is because I have a number of different laces going into this as it grows and then shifts to do the bias with me. And each of those laces really has its own stretch and pull, and the gauge is a little bit different on all of those. And I haven't been adjusting stitch counts to compensate for gauge changes. It's really going to be a shawl that you block the lace out, an aggressive blocking. So the changes in the gauge won't be visible or obvious. They're all just going to block out. But with the bias, the biasing shape has a tendency to not be as gracious with that blocking. And you've worked with lace before, maybe. When you're working lace, it's this icky pile, and it becomes something wonderful when you block it. It may be that my before I block it is confusing my vision, and I'm tempted to block it to see if the bias is working on it, and do like an interim block to make sure that the bias is working. I'm tempted to rip it all the way out and change it to a slightly different construction and do something more in line with a long wrap. But I really like the idea of there being a diagonal angle to it. So I'm toying with it. It's right where every design belongs. It's in that subconscious area where problems are working out. And that's a good thing. That means I'm actively working it again, even though it's not in my forebrain, it's back in my subconscious and I'm problem solving. Sometimes I wake up with answers in the morning just that I processed overnight in my sleep. That's where I am with that project. Everything else is pretty well still in camp zone because I'm addressing things mostly one at a time. We'll see how that goes going forward. But my goals are to finish the Adventurous wrap, which is my I Blame Carolyn project, and to finish the Lost in Space socks, to get Farmhouse Shawl on the needles, and to rip out those gloves. So I should have good progress next week as well. I hope so. So moving on. Last week I also talked to you guys about doing kind of a social mixer and taking pot mates, skeins of yarn that are dyed together in the same pot so that they really are, they match, and having like a sign-up system and having individuals go and buy the yarn that just speaks to them, and then doing a exchange of information with whoever the buyer was of the other mate, so that you had kind of a knit pal, a pen pal. I got a great response on it. A number of you were excited about that. Thank you. I'm excited about this. I'm not going to hit it this month. We're in the month of May. I think we're going to do our signups maybe in June or July. I haven't decided yet. I think probably closer to July. A number of you did say that you were really excited about it, but really needed to wait, that you had a lot on your plates already. So we're going to eyeball that. We're going to look at it. Certainly, it's entirely possible that we'll do multiples of these. We'll start with one and see how it goes and do another later. We'll play with that. But I'm definitely going to do it. I'm very excited by the response. And I'm in agreement with a lot of you. You are my community, and having an introduction with somebody that I already have something in common with breaks the ice and really helps me connect with other people, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point. The design along. Would you believe we already have somebody who's completed a design? Of course we do. It's wonderful. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But it brought up an interesting point. Yes, you can design as many projects between now and September 1st as you like. Feel free. I have opened the finished object thread. Please, no chatter in that thread. Only post a final of here's my entry and what it is. Any information you have about it, project page, pattern page if you've gotten that far, we'd love to see it. But go ahead, and if you have finished a design, go ahead and post it. I'm very excited. Thank you. I can't believe the response that we've had to the design along, and it's helping motivate me. I need to do this shawl. I need to do this shawl. Our connection, if you're just tuning in, our theme is called Connection, and we're just basing it on connection. What that means to you. What that means to you. And of course, you're welcome to design with any theme you choose in mind. We do have an open call for prize donations. Eve, over at Cornwall Crafter Podcast, you need to do more episodes, ma'am, has very, very generously donated a project bag that she is making with her newfound sewing skills. I'm so delighted. Thank you. You honor me, Eve. If you're feeling generous, please contact me. Thank you very much. And we're going to have a bunch of prizes, and we're going to sort out later on how we're going to do that. I think we're going to have a random drawing. I think we're going to have best by vote. I really don't know yet. We've got until September to sort that out. But I do have a number of people who've reached out to me with donations, and that's exciting. That's pretty much what I have for you guys this week. Like I said, I'm exhausted. You can probably see it all over me. I'm like, whoa. I don't have little dogs. I have dogs. So giving a dog a bath, especially dogs that don't particularly like baths, is exhausting. I do want to touch base with all my patrons. If you don't know about my Patreon page, please have a visit and consider offering your support. There are benefits at every level. Chances are very high in the drawing levels that you'll be a winner. The next drawing is now. So I have 3 tiers that I need to do random drawings for, and I'm very excited by that. I love having not only your support means everything to me, but I love being able to give things away, and having the option every month, the opportunity to do the random giveaways it's fun and exciting, and it gives me so much joy to send out to you guys to thank you for what you've done for me. Ultimately, the Patreon money is going toward being able to do full-length classes online for you guys. Being able to sort out how to do like a virtual knit night. I'm looking into how to do that. and learning a number of different technologies right now to see, do we just want to use Google Hangout and have a limited group, or do we want to have it so it's open so anybody can drop in? If you haven't done a virtual knit night, neither have I. I would love to though, and it's an opportunity for us to have a set time where we can get online and we can meet and we can all talk to each other while we're sitting and knitting. Just be on your camera online. You don't even have to be on camera. But it gives us, with more remote living situations, it gives us, those of us with mobility issues, that gives us, with travel issues, that gives us a community online where we can sit face to face and we can actually talk with each other. And I think that's great fun. That's something I'm putting funds towards, as well as the prizes. The funds go back to the prizes so that I can send stuff out to you guys. I want to start by hitting up my subscription level people. My subscription level comes with really, really big benefits. Each month, I'm sorry, I'm cheating, I have my sheet. Each month, all of my subscription level patrons receive a full 100-gram skein of yarn. It's a fingering weight, it's a hand-dyed, and it's an exclusive colorway that is not available to anybody else in the general public. It's not in my shop. Generally, every month, I provide also, in addition to that skein of yarn, a 25% discount to everything in my shop. This month is a little bit different. This month, all month long for the month of May, there's a 30% coupon going on for my shop. So I don't feel good about giving a 25% coupon off when the general public has a 30% coupon. That just feels kind of shoddy to me. And to make that up to you guys, at my subscription level, I've made a change to the yarn that you're getting this time. I wanted to give you something a little extra special. So, spoiler alert, sneak peek, I'm going to show you the yarn that's going out this month. And I'm not going to talk about it, because if it's a spoiler alert, you're only looking away, you're probably not hitting mute, but I'm going to show you what's going out this month. And it's been put away. I'm very excited about that. I think it's beautiful, and for some of you it may be a first opportunity to work that way. So there's also going to be a little extra special prize gift sort of thing in your package. Let's move on to my benefactor level. At my benefactor level, one random patron will receive a special knitting gift inclusive of yarn, pattern, and more. I have 4 people at that level. I'm pulling out my phone, and I have random.org pulled up, so let's do minimum 1 and maximum 4, and hit generate. Number 1 is our winner, and it's Betty Ann. Yay! Let me grab a pen so I can mark up my list. Oh, I'm knocking everything over. I'll be right back. All right, Betty Ann won that level. At my partner level, I have 1 random patron each month who receives both a skein of Dye Monkey yarns and a pattern of their choosing. So you get to look in my shop at everything, you get to look online at my pattern offerings, and you decide a yarn and a pattern, and I send them right out to you. Again, I have 4 people at this level. I'm going to go ahead and hit generate again. The winner this time is number 3, and that is Marie. Marie, you get it this month. At my contributor level, 1 random contributor receives a random skein of yarn from my collection. Again, I have 4 people at that level. I'm going to hit generate. And the winner is number 1, who is Christy. Christy, you get that. I also have a supporter level. At this point, I don't currently have anybody at the supporter level, so I'm going to talk a little bit with you guys about it. The supporter level is a contribution of $1 per month. $1. That $1 means the world to me. That dollar adds up really fast. Anybody who chooses to contribute at that level, I do a random drawing. If you're the only one who signs up, you win. And you get a pattern of your choice from my collection. That may be a $5 pattern, that may be a $2 pattern, it's whatever you want. And you'll get it for $1. In addition to all the other things that my patrons get, there's exclusive content over there, including some patterns, worksheets, and eventually we're going to have workshops. So drop in, take a look, see if there's anything there that appeals to you, or if there's anything that you just want to contribute to help me out. That's it. That's all. That's what I have for you guys this week. I'm excited. I'm exhausted. I am going to go and make some ice cream and sit down and eat an awful lot of it and go to bed. I'll knit somewhere in there, I promise. Have a great week, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.